It's Thursday, January 14, 2026. And this is a second video commenting on Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb's crash out session that they had 2 days ago. And all I can say is, both of you men should be ashamed of yourselves to allow an exchange of words to get you to crash out. And Corey Holcomb, you're a comedian. You are supposed to be a wordsmith. You are supposed to be artful in your words. But here it is, you are so easily triggered by words that you could not use your skills as a wordsmith and as a comedian to crush Anton Daniels. Anton, you say that you don't have any connections with the criminal underworld, even though you say you're from the streets and you know and support people going to university and all of these things. But here it is, you're crashing out too. But you're a multi-millionaire. Is this the kind of behavior that you would want these university students to be engaged in with a discussion with a professor in the classroom? See, your money carries power, but if you wield it in a thoughtless way, you're just throwing money at a problem, but you're not ever going to solve the problem. And this is the whole problem with mothers sending their daughters to university. Here is, we talk about the system being broken and corrupted, yet we send our children to the very schools that are dominated and supported by the system that we're supposedly so against. I mean, I'm really trying to understand, gentlemen. Explain to me these things. I don't have a whole lot of money, but I definitely have enough money to live and be comfortable and not give a darn about anybody else but me. But it's at a point where I really feel like I really hope somebody other than myself takes up the mantle to actually start pointing out just how dumb you men are and what you need to do to make yourselves better men. Don't tell people what they need to do. Show them what they need to do by how you live. I've done that, and oddly enough, when I confront those who I've helped and those who have an opportunity to live a better life and get more out of life than I got, because I went through 20 years of a failed marriage and ended up in divorce. And it didn't take 20 years for the failure to be manifested. I hung in there even after I knew this was a failed situation for the sake of my children. And even now, the only thing that I have really to show for it is the very reason for me not leaving and abandoning my children. I left them when they were fully grown adults, because I heard back when I was in university that in a broken home, it's highly likely that my two sons would ultimately end up in prison. And to this day, neither one of my children are in prison, and neither have they had run-ins with the law to where they would ultimately be in jeopardy of spending years in prison. So mission accomplished, but I had greater expectations for my children than just keeping them out of prison. And this is where the failure of the marriage comes into full view. That's a story for another day. All I'm saying is that we need to be calculating like Bumpy Johnson. I'm going to send you a link to this video. I would hope all of you watch it to the end, because there are several gems of power under control and under discipline, focus which ultimately led to this man being a very successful and famous person, to the degree that many of the lessons that were taught in terms of moral character and real strength are demonstrated by this man. And I would salute Bumpy Johnson. Take care.